welcome back to our Stupid X of Corbin.
I'm Rick.
You follow us on Instagram, Twitter for more.
Choose the content!
Follow us on the like button. Welcome back. And I don't know if this is going to be released right away or more towards when the film is released. I don't know. But Patron, how you doing, buddies?
Hey, how you doing, everybody?
Yesterday was the first opening gala for the 2025 IFLA.
The Indian Film Festival of Los Angeles.
And it opened with the new 2025 film directed and written by
Varsha, not Anurag, Kashyap, Varsha, Bharath. I think as well. I could be wrong.
She did a TV series, and she was assistant director on that film.
This is her first feature.
But she was assistant director on...
Right. She was an AD.
Do you recognize that movie?
I do.
That's the one...
This, Ranai.
That's the one with, about the true story of the people that they wrongfully convicted of those crimes that we just did a watch along of not too long ago.
Yes, that we really, really liked.
Yeah. She's AD on
that had the black and white moments.
Yeah. That director is also the producer on this movie as well. So it's Anurag and that Vetri are the two producers on this film. Anyways, this is her directorial debut, starring right there.
I don't think she has a thumbnail.
Nope.
There she is. Why is she at the bottom? IMDb. Anjali Sivaraman.
The star of the film here.
Who on IMDb they put her last in the cast list.
Obviously, it's not out yet, so this is going to be 100% non-spoiler reviews.
Everyone dies. Everyone.
So true.
In the first 5 minutes, and then you just watch dead bodies for 2 hours.
But it is a coming-of-age
like
drama film. But yeah, since it's not out yet, obviously, so we're not going to spoil it for anybody.
Correct.
So, Rick, your initial thoughts of... It was really funny. At the beginning, a very old uncle had to announce the title of the film.
That's great.
And he said, "Bad Girl."
And got a lot of laughter.
Everybody laughed because it was just funny seeing an old uncle say, "Bad Girl."
Yeah, and how old is Varsha?
I'd imagine 25.
20-something. She looks... She may be older than she looks, but she's got to be in her 20s.
I bet she's tops 29.
Yeah.
Anyways,
young.
Your initial non-spoiler thoughts.
My initial non-spoiler.
Girl.
Well, the way to give that away is to let you know what kind of a medal I give the thing.
Also composed by our ghost, Amit Trivedi.
Amit Trivedi. Yeah.
Sorry, missed that part.
It was a silver for me. I thought it was excellent. There's parts of it that I thought were... it's interesting because I feel like this film has points of accolades that are specific to Indian cinema and specific to South Indian and specific to Tamil cinema that I wouldn't necessarily give it the accolades if this had been a film that had been released by, say, France or from the United States, things of that nature. But it nonetheless gets the accolades. It's very original. It's very different than most films you're seeing come out of India, especially from South India, that we're exposed to. And it's wonderful to see a film by a writer-director that it's no giveaway. The film is written and directed by a woman. The lead character is a woman. And the majority of what you're dealing with is a coming-of-age story that has to deal with issues that are not just for a woman, though they are hugely feminine-centric. I loved that it was generational, and I think there's a whole lot of people who are going to be able to relate to it.
Yeah.
I
really enjoyed this movie as well. Not a perfect movie. This is actually something I would... You know how we often see films that are like, this is his first director film.
Right.
This is... if this is your first film ever, you should be very proud.
You should be very proud.
Very proud.
Yeah.
But this also has some flaws that I would expect with a first-time director.
Agreed.
The things we sometimes see that are like, this is like one of the best films I've ever seen is not normal for a first-time director.
Yeah, there's things we can talk about this. This doesn't give anything away.
Also, it could be budgetary as well.
Yeah. There were some things in the story and the directing, and this is not an insult. This is a truly descriptive word I'm going to use. That word juvenile. I do not mean that insultingly. I mean it in terms of, I guarantee, the more she writes and directs and she looks back on her film, she's going to look back on it and go, yeah, it was obvious I was a new writer-director. Doesn't mean it was bad.
She also said she wanted to make a girly rom-com.
It worked.
Yeah, so that's she. Like, it worked. I stayed for a Q&A at the end with the director, and she specifically said she wanted to make a girly rom-com,
and that worked.
Yeah,
that worked. But I agree with you. There's flaws.
There's like certain flaws that are budgetary. Like there's some bad dubbing.
Sure.
Which once again,
which was disappointing.
Which could very well be budgetary.
The majority of it, they're trying sync sound throughout.
God damn it! I didn't start audio.
Oh no.
Okay, guys, sorry. If the audio was terrible, I apologize. I didn't start the mic audio, so you got camera audio for like the first few
minutes. And you're probably wondering all the comments, what's wrong with the audio?
I'm terribly sorry.
Yeah, so sorry.
Hey,
figured it out early on.
It's because I check about 15 times during recording. But anyways, I stayed for Q&A, and she said she wanted to make a girly rom-com. But there's like the dubbing issue, not at all times.
No, just a few times.
At times, it was very bad and obvious. It just wasn't syncing up.
Yeah.
Which is always unfortunate because it takes away from the actor's performance. I can see a good performance and then I'm hearing something else.
Exactly.
And it never...
It's always a shame.
Yeah, so that never helps, obviously. And then there's some obviously pacing issues. But I actually really enjoyed this director's kind of fresh, fun voice.
There's something in particular that's we're going to get to spoilers at the end, right?
Yeah, we can.
Because there's some things I want to talk about that have to do with that are specifically spoilers.
She has a very
fresh,
unique, fun voice.
Very.
That is, it's exciting to see, and I can see why Vetri and Anurag are like, this is something I want to put my money behind because it's unique and different.
It's interesting. I wonder how much of that was revealed when she was pitching her story.
Mm.
You know, I wonder how much of that, because they don't have anything to go off of to look at. She doesn't have a filmography.
Yeah.
And I wonder how much of that was conveyed.
Writing,
conveyed through her pitching the story to them and telling this is what it's going to look like, this is what it's going to be, because they introduced her as an exciting young director.
She is.
This is somebody to be excited about.
Yeah. I think you can only go up.
Agreed.
From here.
Yeah.
And right off the bat, and I called it immediately. She has ADHD. I called it immediately upon the film starting within the first 5 minutes.
I was going to say something to you during it.
It's just, especially, there's a portion in the beginning that's very fast-paced. Almost too fast-paced. In the beginning, like first 5 minutes.
But I think it's wonderfully representative of the generation and of her.
It is.
Yeah. It puts you in her head.
I think you could have maybe slowed it down just a millisecond or so. And I'm saying that as an ADHD person who doesn't mind,
Yeah, that's interesting. You're saying that. Yeah.
Stuff. But as the film went along, I'm like, she definitely is. And then she mentioned it herself.
Did she?
In the Q&A.
That she's ADHD?
That she has ADHD. In my opinion, there's a lot of, I would actually say a majority of artists have it in some way. But it's not surprising, especially coming from this one and the way she decided to not only film it, but her and the editor deciding to edit it.
Yeah, very much so.
I'd love to talk to an editor. I bet a lot of editors are ADHD.
That wouldn't be a shock.
That wouldn't shock me at all because it's a hyperfixation field.
Yeah.
So that'd be interesting to talk to.
Another perspective to get, and I'm speaking for her because she's not here, but Anjali was with us last night.
Oh, yeah. What do you think?
And she has a perspective that you and I would never have by a couple of reasons. One, she's a woman. Two, she's Indian.
Yes.
And she too.
There's a Bengali joke.
She there is. She too felt exactly the same way in terms of there's probably Western audiences that would see this, and a lot of the points that are really important points for the character and the story, there'd be a lot of people, especially if you're in your 30s or older, you would look at it and go, okay, it's not that big a deal, but I understand why it would be a big deal for you. However, she really appreciated this first-time director. She thought the performances were-top-notch.
Yeah.
That's the driving force. Our lead actress.
Yes, she's special.
Talk about...
She has elements of Radhika Apte, and I don't say that lightly.
And Kolki.
Yes, and Kolki.
And to put her in those categories for comparison, especially when, is there a frame of film without her?
I don't know if there is. I mean, there's
like POVs for the building and stuff.
There's not a scene with her.
But it's like Juno. It's this is
There's
the story is her.
The story is elements of
like this a lot.
Elements of Juno, elements of Easy A, elements of Vinny, and also not saying it's a copy of any of those. It's just it has its own voice.
This has those spirit connected.
But it's also wonderfully acted by.
Yes, she does a wonderful job. Anjali Sivaraman.
Just her look screams. You should be on screen because you have a very unique, beautiful look.
Yeah, and your eyes are just ridiculous.
And she has an intensity about her. I really, really enjoyed her performance.
Very believable.
The only times I didn't was when it was dubbed, and it's not really her fault. It's just, and then there was some supporting actors that whether it was dubbing or writing, I don't know.
They were fine.
Nobody was awful,
right?
But there were some that was much better than others.
Correct.
So that would be one of the gripes there. But if you can fix the dubbing on this film, I think it will elevate it even more. Because you won't ever have to. Because it's actually very funny. This film is very, very funny.
Very funny.
It's not like I'm not going to say it's like a laugh out loud, even though you will.
Oh, there's a lot of laugh out loud, especially since we got to see this with an audience.
And
there's a lot of laugh out loud.
As a Tamil audience, I think you will laugh more than we will.
Way more.
Because we heard more laughter than when we were laughing.
Yeah.
And we laughed quite a bit. It's just, it's very funny in editing and kind of dialogue jokes.
At one point, Andrani turned over to me, but we were like 30 minutes into the film. Remember, the film's called Bad Girl, and she turned to me and she went, "She's my kind of girl. She's like me."
So if you're a modern woman,
if you're a modern woman, let's just say I have a feeling there will be hot split takes on this film.
There already is.
There will be people who adore it, love it, say it's, this is what people said about Bob Dylan. He says what I think and feel.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of people, especially women, young women, who are going to say, wow, somebody gets me. And there's going to be a lot of people who think this is an aberration, that this is doing harm to the culture.
Yeah.
That you're destroying our traditions. And I have something to say about that, but I'm saving it for the spoiler.
Yeah, and it was wonderful to see they kind of blended not only her struggles, but like other character struggles in her life.
Yeah.
With the patriarchy system, with what's expected of a woman in this culture.
There were a couple of points, that aspect of it almost leaned. All we imagine is light.
Yeah.
Almost leaned that way between her and one other character that's older than her. I will save that for the spoilers.
Yeah.
But ultimately, the only reason for me it's not, because it goes for me from bronze is it's entertaining. I enjoyed it. 2 is it's excellent. 3 is it was exemplary.
Yeah.
And then a platinum is extraordinary. The only things that kept it from being exemplary for me were the dubbing aspects, some of those technical things, some of the juvenile aspects of it that are more groundbreaking for Tamil cinema than it is for global cinema.
Yeah.
But it nonetheless is a movie that I think should absolutely be seen.
Yeah, and
you would enjoy it, especially if you're a Tamil girl.
Yeah,
I think you will really resonate.
And
with
if you
movie.
like fresh takes, on cinema. And you don't like just the standard fare that we get a lot of times.
And a new director who's I agree. There's a reason Anurag Kashyap
and Vetri
and Vetri Maaran got behind this. You're going to hear a lot. Don't be surprised if you see this girl at Cannes. She's got a voice. She's got something to say.
Who?
Varsha Bharath.
Also, the score was really nice by our host, Amit Trivedi.
And I have questions for her about the score. I'll save it for the spoiler because they'll give something away.
But yeah,
it's a very unique score.
It's going to come out soon, I think, in India. So if you haven't watched it, please go watch it and come back. But we're going to get into some spoilers.
All right,
go spoils.
This is the section. Do not be here unless you've seen Bad Girl. We're assuming you paused it, you marked it, you've come back, you've now seen Bad Girl.
White people.
You looking for spoil me? Yeah. Hold on. Hold on. Here you go. I'll find it eventually. I'll eat my breakfast.
But it sucks.
That's a good one.
Oh yeah, baby. File an FIR against me, bitch. Stupid Meyer. Get spoiled, bitch.
There it is. We got there. So let's start with what we were just talking about, the music. One of the funniest parts of this movie.
Oh yeah.
And I'm sure it's her call, but I don't know how much of Eddie knew she was going to do when he was providing the music. Was how whenever we're in her world with her and she's getting a daydream and something's going great, anytime the adults or the teachers or reality bit into what she was dealing with at the moment, the music just stops. Yeah. And then it goes right back in when she goes back in. She did a very good job cinematically of taking what I'm sure is universal for everybody when you're that age. Those serendipitous moments where you're living in your world and everything is just gold, and then reality cuts in, and the adults cut in, and the teachers cut in, and everything just turns to suck.
Yeah,
yeah,
that was one of a lot of the big comedy moments were
with that
with music as well. I love the mom element in this movie. I think what they did with that, making it a lot more complex than just
especially in the second half.
A lot more complex than just a conservative mom,
right?
Not wanting to her modern young daughter to be modern.
And that was the all we imagine is light part. That I felt like mom was going on a journey with her too, where she got some empathy for her mom, recognizing that a lot of what her mom's problems are because her mom was parented by that grandma, and seeing. I thought it was a really great choice. And very encouraging to see the character of the mom loving her daughter so much that she wants to understand and she's willing to change some things.
Yeah.
Without Disneyfying it and her just becoming, I support everything you do.
Yeah. And this film also did unique things with like time jumping a little bit.
Or assuming our intelligence.
Yeah. Or like, is this a dream, a fantasy of hers?
Right. Or is this really happening? Did it really happen?
It was very unique, and she also said something that this film went through a lot of edit because, like, when they were first testing it in the early stages, a lot of people said pick up the pace. It needs to be.
I see that.
And so I think that's why maybe they did a bunch of.
Did she talk at all about vertical versus what? Because I want to know.
It's ADHD. She didn't say that, but I'm 100% positive of it.
But was it not supposed to represent the age and the innocence and the time of that girl's life? Was very much the social media generation.
Yeah,
and everything's vertical.
And
then her literally her horizons expand.
Yeah,
literally.
She was like, I had conviction in doing that. And,
that's a great choice. Very original.
I said I stick with it. I like the choice I made.
I did too. I thought the whole movie might be vertical, and I thought, okay, if you're going to do that for the whole movie, that's a little weird, but I get it. You're giving us the perspective of the generation. And then when it went widescreen, I thought, lovely.
Yeah, very nice job there. Very, certain elements, you can see that she's a new director, but in certain elements, it's like, that's one of the reasons that you should always bring young people in every aspect of any business or art or life in general.
Yes.
Because look what's happening with our country. You have a bunch of old farts making everything. It's not. It's going to go to shit. They just don't want to give up power. It should be a collaboration between everybody.
Can you imagine what it's like to be AOC?
I know.
Good grief.
But to have like this fresh take by having a new director be like, I don't know what's right and what's wrong. I'm just
doing what I feel.
Yeah, and it's wonderful, and it breeds such great creativity and art, and I love it.
You're not supposed to do that in cinema. You're not? Well, I'm doing it because I want to.
Yeah.
That's what young, and you get, there's a perspective that she's going to have no matter how, for example, if I wanted to make this film or if Anurag wanted to make this film, because we're of the same generation, we would not be able to tell this story the way she can because she's part of this generation. This is part of her life. She's going to have perspectives, feelings, and nuances that are going to resonate with people her age.
Yep. That
I would never, even if I tried to do it, it would be a fabrication. It would not be an expression of who I am. Mm-hmm. And I also, one of the things that I hope we can see just change in the world, there will be people, because it's going to do this. There's going to be people who love the movie and people who hate the movie. And the people who hate the movie will use the words progressive, woke, liberal, and all that. And I get it. But my thought about progressive as a term are we not? You know, oh, we don't want. Do we not want to advance?
Some people don't, man.
I mean, isn't that the first part of that word progress? It's comparable to me to the people who said back in the day when the car was being invented, we're not driving in the cars. The horses are the best. We're going to make the air dirty, and we're going to. It's progress.
We did make the air dirty, though.
We did. We did a great job with that.
In fact, make the air dirty.
Yeah, but now we don't step in horse poop. You're welcome.
I do.
I think that's one of my favorite parts about this. I'm glad you do. Is how much she was, and that's the thing that Anjali loved about this character, is that she just had giant cojones.
Yeah, and it
to be who she wanted to be.
A young Indian girl that has sexual desire as well.
Right, that's the thing. This could be called bad.
Yeah.
Girl.
Yeah.
She's got sexual desires.
I
loved her.
She also said,
I'm on my period. I'm on my period. Every excuse out of school was I've got my period.
I think most girls can probably relate to not wanting to do something, and you just tell
Absolutely.
a man in charge, I'm on my period. And men could be like, okay, I guess do what you do. She did say that it was extremely difficult casting this movie.
I'm sure it was.
Because, one, just to find somebody good, because it's kind of her story.
You got to carry the film.
In a way. But a lot of the Tamil stars, actresses, if you're in a movie like this, you're basically axed for any other big heroine role.
Right. Well, that's where she's like Kolki and Radhika, not just as an actress, but as a person, because this is the kind of film they'd do.
Yeah.
They would hold the torch high for this kind of story.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so I'm so glad it was made.
I am too.
And it's exciting to see a young new female director
and this actress, because there's going to be people who don't want to work with you. Great, don't work with them. They're not the people you want to work with.
Yeah.
The people who you want to work with, they'll work with you.
I want to work with you.
We'll see her again. We'll see her again.
I have a script. No, I don't.
Two very promising young women. This actress and this director.
Movie. Promising young women.
Oh, great.
You don't like that movie?
Well, I like that movie. It's just, it's so funny how often when I say something, you're just getting thoughts. I say a word, it takes you somewhere else.
Welcome to the ADHD life. It's
so good. Anyways,
if you've seen the movie, let us know what you thought about the movie. No spoilers, because most people have not.
Have not.
And anything else we need to know down below.